Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Um, Andre, Andre and I were at work today fighting back on anti-Muslim hate, and I think it would just be useful just to share with you a little bit about what we were talking about. This guy, Geert Wilders, he's actually a member of parliament, a leader of a party in Netherlands. It was very disappointing to Andre and I that our members of our Congress, Stephen King, I want you to know that name, Stephen King from Iowa, and Scott Perry from Pennsylvania, and Louis Gohmert from Texas. All of them are up for election every 2 years. I want you to know those names because they invited someone to speak right straight that way. You see that Congress building? And this man said, Islam is not a religion, it's an ideology, and the ideology of a retarded culture. He said the Quran is a fascist book which incites violence. That is why this book, just like Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf, must be banned. I want to tear down mosques. I'll be the first to go with cement and bricks to close down those mosques. And he says to the Muslims of the Netherlands, who, by the way, make important contributions to that society, he says every non-Western immigrant should sign an assimilation contract. This should exactly state what you can and cannot do, and if you don't abide by this, you have to leave the country. And then he came here, he traveled across the Atlantic Ocean to, quote, warn the people of Islamization of Western society. So only less than 4 hours ago, Andre and I were, he had spoken at a breakfast, and they were doing a press conference in front of the Capitol. And we heard about it, so Andre and I and our friend Joe, and Joe was a big old dude like Andre, so I felt pretty safe. We walked up to their press conference. And we let them spew their nonsense because we believe in the First Amendment. And then we took the microphone and told the press that this is evil, this is anti-Muslim hatred, and religious hatred against anyone is not tolerable. We pointed out that this is a person who has already been charged with the criminal offense of hate speech in the Netherlands. Andre pointed out that he has already been banned from the UK. They don't want him there. And we pointed out that, look, we got enough of our own bigots and haters. We don't need to import them from the Netherlands. And we also expressed our disappointment that in a country dedicated to liberty and justice for all, that members of Congress would give a platform to a person who says things as I recited them to you. So the point is that neither Andre or I could be assured to even be in Congress to challenge this kind of speech without the help of Emerge. You understand? Now, we have some very talented people coming up from the Muslim community. I just want to point out everybody that Andre mentioned, but also, in addition, Mohammed Hamiduddin, who's the former mayor of Teaneck, New Jersey, and current member of the council. I also want to mention another person who works hand in glove with Khurram, and that is Farouk Mitta, who's I had the pleasure of being in Pennsylvania just a few days ago, and let me tell you, the crew in Pennsylvania is doing a great job for Emerge. Dr. Rishi, right over there. Raise your hand up, Doc. Now, once you start naming people who are doing great work, you're going to get yourself into trouble because everybody's doing some good work. And I don't want to leave anyone out, so forgive me, would you? But I just want to say that we got a lot of talent. We have you, and we have people all over this country who are thirsty for a muscular political voice coming from the Muslim community. People who are not just politically active, but also active in society. We have great educators who are here. The Muslim community is rich in medical talent. We have people who got strong business backgrounds. And we are members of communities where we don't want simply ourselves to have prosperity and comfort and opportunity. We want to extend that ladder of opportunity to everyone. We believe in this idea of the American dream right here at Emerge, do we not? And so the work that we do and the work we're fighting for, we're trying to establish, is going to benefit people far beyond the Muslim community. Any person who is from a minority religion will benefit from the work that we do here today. Anyone who has been stopped at an airport or in a car because of their color will benefit from the work that we're doing today. Anybody who has been slowed down and given a tough time going through the immigration process will benefit from the work that Emerge is doing. And let me tell you, if you do a righteous thing, it's almost like Allah will enlarge the possibilities of success for you. If you're doing a righteous thing, the good that you do will go beyond yourself. So I just want to say that when you think about donating to Emerge tonight, you are helping an organization that is really addressing one of the most fundamental and key aspects of empowerment, and that is mobilizing the vote, and that is being a part of the political process. There's some Muslims who file a lot of lawsuits. That's fine. We think it's important to be part of litigating some of these important issues of civil and human rights. But I'm telling you now, if you don't mobilize the vote and get people to the polls, then you're not going to be able to get the kind of candidates or the president or the governors in the position who will nominate the judges who will be issuing fair rulings that those lawyers are fighting for. You understand how this thing is all connected? It's not an isolation. We need a strong voter base, and I'm telling you, and some of our friends who've been in municipal government can tell you that there are areas. For example, Muhammad, how many people does it take to win a city council seat in Teaneck? So 3,000 people. You go mobilize a community of about 500, and you can make a big difference. Your first race, how much did you win by? 38 votes. Now, how much you win by the last one? So that was pretty good. But my point remains the same. If Emerge is organizing, forming people into a strong base, 500 people in one community can make a very big difference. There is a senator in my state, in the state of Minnesota, Al Franken, won his first race by 312 votes. So if Emerge is organizing us in Florida and Michigan, Maryland, Virginia, Ohio, and getting those voters out, getting people to the polls, mobilizing, that will be the difference. And candidates who win as a result of our help will know where their help came from. And we'll have a relationship with them where we can't expect them to do everything we want, but we will know that we will at least be in a relationship where we can have a conversation and share our views, and as the decisions gets made, we know that we'll be part of the decision-making process. Is that right, Sammy? So my point is, Emerge is critical to what we're trying to do. Emerge is essential. And those of you who are in a position to write checks, I hope you are generous tonight. Because it's really the difference between having somebody who's going to stand up to a Geert Wilders and somebody who isn't. And I just want to say that it's just not about Geert Wilders. This is what we did today. We could talk about what we've been doing for the last 7 years and wouldn't have enough time to tell you all of it. But I can assure you that Steve King, Scott Perry, and Louis Gohmert, not too much different from Allen West, and as they get up and say things that I believe are un-American and divisive and give a platform to people who spew out hatred against others, there's got to be some voters who will at least be able to tell them, you know what, I know what you said and I don't appreciate it. We expect an apology or we're going to take you out of office. And that is the way this is done. It's not done another way. That's the way. And so we need to be active. We need to be about participation. And we also need the financial resources so that we can leverage those votes and get people to the polls. It takes money to put people, to get canvassers out who will knock and call and organize. It takes money to afford an executive director who can work on this problem full time, so that when you come to volunteer, that the work is already taken care of, because these paid staff is taking care of all the preliminary work ahead of time to maximize volunteer time. So this is critical. The checks that you write tonight are going to help not just you, but your children and your neighbors and your friends live in a safer and better world. Now I'm going to wrap up now, and I just want to make one other point. It's not good enough, and I pray that it's not good enough to you, that Emerge look out for the Muslim community. There is a problem going all across this country that is related to what the Muslim community is dealing with. When somebody can get shot down for wearing a hoodie, then somebody else can get shot down for wearing a hijab. Do you understand my point? If somebody can get arrested and be in good physical shape when they're arrested, but then end up with their back severed 80% and their voice box crushed by the time they get to something is wrong. And you know, and I'm telling you, it would be nice for us to believe that we are separate from some of these problems that are emerging across this country, but sadly we're not. And I'm telling you that Muslim communities have told me about issues and violations of their civil rights. We need a group of people who are going to stand up and say and do the right thing. I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. America does not need another self-interested ethnic group only concerned about its own members. We need some... America needs some people who have a sense of the common good, who want to uplift society, who are unafraid to confront authority when authority is wrong. Now, we're not making excuses for young people who let their emotions get away with them and destroy property. We always will disagree with that. And we will tell them this is not the way to solve a problem. But what is the way to solve a problem? You can vote people in who will fight for you and stand up for you. Giving them a path to participation and an outlet to express their political ideas will lure them away from negative activity. I mean, for a kid to go riot and tear up their city, or for a kid to go think, I'm going to go get on an airplane and join ISIS, these are behaviors we can never approve of. But we've also got to understand that there are conditions in our society that are unjust, and some manipulators will manipulate our kids astray to express themselves in a negative way. Those of us who are responsible must say, look, kid, there is a way for you to make a positive contribution to your society, and it starts with building, joining, and being part of an organization that is going to make a meaningful difference, not a rageful difference. Does anybody understand what I'm trying to say? What we're doing is serious business. What we're literally saving our kids. I got 6 Somali kids who are now charged with a federal offense because they were outraged about what they thought was injustice, and because they went to a very wrong way of trying to solve that problem that we can never approve of. But if we create a political environment that is attractive for them and they feel that they can express, we can save some of them. I hope you believe me about that, because it's true. Talk about countering violent extremism. You counter violent extremism by creating, working meaningful alternatives to address grievances. That's how you do it. So I've talked longer than I wanted to. I just want to say to the leadership of Emerge that we're incredibly proud of you. We believe in you. We think that you have an indispensable part of the answer. And to the board and all the chapter leaders, I want to say thank you as well. And to our elected leaders, Mayor Hamiduddin and Delegate Sami Rasul and Murphy. Do we got any others? And Ambassador Siddiqui and everybody here who has done so much great work for community. I just want to say thank you. I can tell you that we are on the right track. Sakala Hira.